Hi, I'm Tim Roble, and welcome to another episode of Adventure Athlete. This is a special how-to, and we're going to be talking about unicorn spit and how I get this process. I've had several of you guys reach out and say, how are you doing your wood? And for me, the whole truck on the build series, you'll see it. I spent 18 months of my life building this expedition truck, basically to go travel and live in. So let me take you back to the wood shop, and I'll show you this process of how I get that results. First of all, I really like to work with pine. So tongue and groove, pine pallet wood works just great. If you follow me, adventure.athlete on Instagram, you'll see some of that woodwork that turned out that was all pallets. But as you see, I kind of save pieces and parts of wood. That's all pallets, pine pallets back there stacked up, ready to be processed. I'll plane those down, and then the next is select your piece of wood. So you can see this crappy wood with pretty much, it's got some scale on it. It's got some little things hanging off of it. So instead of sanding it, what I do is I come in here with just a propane torch, and I do both sides, and I just pretty much hit this and bring out the wood grain. And while I'm doing that, it really takes off all that scale and makes a smoother piece of wood. And then I like to do the ends, and being that I'm holding the camera here and shaking around, normally I would flip it and do both sides. So you're basically encapsulating this wood. Take a look at it. It's got a kind of a deep char on it, but not crazy. But what it is now it's smooth to the touch. All of that stuff burned off, and it feels like you just sanded it with maybe some 180 grit. So next up, here is the unicorn spit. I bought the starter, I think it was like 12 or 15 kit with all the different colors in it, so I could play with colors and see what I liked. Got that off of Amazon. I want to say it was like, they're about $7 a bottle. So you can select what you want. And actually it doesn't take a whole lot, but there is some tricks to working with the stuff. So it is a water-based stain. So here's the woodwork I did on some manzanilla. And this is what this wood started off like. I basically took a belt sander and kind of pulled some of the grain off. And I don't know if this is picking up really great. So I used a few colors in here. I took the natural, like a burgundy, and I replaced that with black. So what was left is I brushed on some black kind of uniformly, and then I brought it out and did a blend of orange, red, and then just a touch of yellow. So we're going to do a process. I like the reds and yellow. A lot of times I like a lot of different color combinations. This one right here reminds me of us last year rafting the Colorado River, and we did the LCR, Little Colorado River, and that's the color of the water. So I did that on our countertop where we sit at the booth, and I really like how that turned out. Matter of fact, I love how all the wood turned out. So first thing you want to do is you burn this. You don't even have to wait for it to cool. This is such a fast process. So you hit this thing with water, and you get that pretty saturated. And let's say you want to do orange. So you kind of shake it up a little bit. Now, this whole kit's done the whole truck. So, and there's still probably a quarter of this orange left. So I got standing water. I'll just take this and do a blend. Run a line there, maybe a line up here. Call that good. Definitely want to do some red. Shake that up. Open that off, knock off the nasty part of it. And then I'll just do a little here and a little there. That looks good. All right, so then I'll take my paintbrush, and this one I've already relieved, but basically you don't have to wash these out or anything. I just kind of buy these cheap paintbrush kits, and this is what it looks like hard. So that's not washed or anything. This is how it's sat for probably 4 months. But you just do that, get some of that dust off, and it's good to go. Anyway, back to this. You want to make sure this stays wet, because you want that stain to, spread kind of easy. So I'll pick a color to start with. Let's start with the red. Let's just wash some of that in here. And then we'll wash some red through. Get a little bit there. Yeah, looks pretty good. Now we'll transition to an orange. And that's probably looking pretty good. Do a couple brush strokes through. All right, so what I will normally do here is I'll let that sit for maybe 3-5 minutes. But if you don't like what you did, you can take a rag and you can come through and just remove some of that wetness off. And that kind of gives you a weird look. So I'll come through and just kind of wipe through. And you can kind of see what we're looking at. Right there. I think you get a more vibrant look if you just kind of let it set up. But that's what we got there. Got a nice wood grain, everything looking really nice. And now finishing, I happen to like, and this is after several attempts of different stuff, I like this Rust-Oleum 2X Ultra Cover Gloss Clear. You can use the Varathane Triple Thick. This one is a matte because I wasn't paying attention. And so that's why I still have it. I go through that stuff pretty quick. So like this piece right here, I think I have 4 really light coats on it. And when you do a coat with any of these products, including the brush on, and one of the things you have to figure out is what you're going to stay with. Because some is oil-based and some is a different, I don't know what it is, but I know if you do the Varathane and then try to finish it off with the clear gloss, you get a bunch of oil spotting on that. You don't really want that. So I'm almost out of this clear gloss, but now that that's set up, all I'll do through here is I'll put a full cover coat, if I got enough left, and I barely do. All right. So what you want to do is utilize your light or sunlight or whatever to see what you got here. And being that that's almost done, that it is done, that probably didn't come out as good as I would have liked for the first coat. But this is just quick and easy stuff. That first coat really doesn't matter. Don't run it all over the place. But let that sit now for about 20 minutes. And what that'll do is it'll soak into the wood and kind of give you a base to start building on. So after that first one, on these, this manzanilla, it does not penetrate the same way. So that first coat, pretty much, because it's such a hard wood, sits on the surface. And so it builds up a lot better and easier to do. But being that that's a round stick, this is going to go in my underneath my sink to basically hold my dishes in. And this is a trim piece to hide some wiring. But it's got a really nice, vibrant color to it, like you've seen before inside the truck. And then this piece I just did as a test piece. Once you put the poly down or the clear, your staining process is done. So if you didn't like it, you can start over with a new piece or whatever. But get what you like out of that first, and then go from there. So that's really going to be it. Let that sit for 20 minutes, come back in 20 minutes, shoot a coat, let that set for 15, shoot another coat, let that set for 15, one more coat. You're good to install in about 25-30 minutes if you're simple. It's a quick process. It's way quicker than using like a stain that you have to rub in and rub off and all of that. Like, you can really just come over here, brush that on, let that set into the wood. It'll be actually a deeper saturation. But for video, I kind of batted it. But it's not hard. It's not hard to go down a path, whatever way you see fit. If you think like, oh, I like the way that looks, leave it alone. Let it set. It's probably only going to be 5-10 minutes for it to soak in. I've done this stuff when it's been 35 degrees outside, and right now we're probably up in the hundreds. So It works really well, really fun to play with. I love the multiple colors and how they blend. Teaches you a little bit about that. But if you got questions or comments on this, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't be afraid to try it out. Just go in and, you know, maybe you screw up your first piece of wood. While I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I mentioned, I do burn all pieces of the wood. And because what that does is that helps seal that wood. And you'll get more out of that wood, out of your RV or whatever. If you're just putting it in the house and you don't care, you can just do the one side. I don't stain both sides. I don't poly both sides. So I leave that side open to breathe. And for inside a rig, that's great because you have expansion and contraction and moisture, and that helps soak that up. It works as kind of a buffer, I think anyway, talking theories. But super happy with this product. I really like it. You couldn't get easier material to work with. And spray bottle, a torch, you know, if you did not want to bring out the grain and show that, and you can do lighter burns, you know, that was a quick burn with holding the camera, but you can just kind of see how that all turned out and how this has already started to sink in. And where I went heavier here, it's still sitting on the top, but that'll sink in, and this will actually be one good looking piece and ready for the next coat. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't liked the video, please do and subscribe. I got more how-tos. You guys are requesting a lot more how-tos. So for the fabrication piece, woodworking, I'll just show you what I did. It may not be exactly what everyone does, but there's several ways to do the job right. That's going to be it for now. I'm Tim Roble. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you here next time.